Good evening, good evening, good evening. Welcome to another live edition of Pro Wrestling Talk, brought to you by Blitzball Champ Gaming. I'm your host for this evening, Blitzball Champ Jason Ingram, coming at you here live on the U to the 2. So, got a lot I want to talk about tonight. We're going to be talking about a lot of stuff. Going to talk some Stardom, AEW, WWE. There's been a lot of releases, a couple of injuries, unfortunate injuries that happened. Going to go over the Stardom Awards for 2021. A few units got some new members, so we'll talk about those. We'll go back over NXT New Year's Evil. And pretty much the road to WrestleMania has started. We get to hear word about some of the participants that'll be in the Royal Rumble. Also do a quick preview of AEW Battle of the Belts that I'll be attending live tomorrow at the Bojangles Coliseum, the Bowplex in Charlotte, North Carolina. A couple hours from my hometown. So I'll be there live. Looking forward to that. And should be a action-packed show tonight. Anyway, let's go over the Stardom 2021 awards and just kind of give my take on those. So let's see. Let me get these up. So first, starting off, the Best Technique Award went to Queen's Quest Ziya Brookside, who is the new Wonder of Stardom champion. And, I figure it makes sense. I mean, she's been using the Phoenix Splash for a while now. And if you ask me, I think she executes it perfectly. I mean, I've seen Rich Swann do it a lot. I know Hayabusa's done a lot, but you know what? Ziya Brookside does a great Phoenix Splash. So I am not surprised at all that she won this award for Best Technique. I think it's well deserved. And Ziya Brookside has been on a roll, becoming number one contender for the Wonder of Stardom Championship, winning the title, dethroning Tam Nakano, and then turning around Wrestle Kingdom Night 2, winning the special Stardom match, her and Tam Nakano defeating Mayu Iwatani and Starlight Kid. And now she wins this Best Technique Award. So Ziya Brookside's been on fire lately. And like I said, I hope she has a great white belt run. I really do. I think she deserved it. And I'd love to see what she does. She's definitely been rising the ranks. And, I'm just looking forward to seeing how 2022 will treat her. The Golden Phoenix, Ziya Brookside. The Fighting Spirit Award went to Cosmic Angels Unagi Sayaka. It definitely makes sense. I feel like she's definitely one that has improved. I think other than Mina Shirakawa of Cosmic Angels, I think she's definitely been improving more and more each match. And I know she suffered a lot of losses to start off with, but she eventually won. She won that big battle royal, and then she eventually became a Future of Stardom champion. She was also a former Artist of Stardom champion, which I believe her and Mina Shirakawa and Tam Nakano, I think, set the record for most defenses of the Artist of Stardom trios titles. They at least made it to 10. So yeah, I thought that was really cool. But I feel like Unagi Sayaka has definitely been improving. I know in the 5-star Grand Prix, I know she got a couple of big upset wins. And you know what? I like her. I definitely like her. One of my favorites from Cosmic Angels. And also I really like Mina Shirakawa. She's definitely been improving. But Unagi Sayaka, I definitely have been high on more and more lately. So definitely happy for Unagi Sayaka winning the Fighting Spirit Award. The Outstanding Performance Award went to the now Shirley 3 belts. That's right, Shirley, who just recently became the new World of Stardom champion. She finally dethroned Utami Hayashishita. And you know what? Outstanding performance definitely makes sense. I mean, Shirley has been on a tear since coming to Stardom. She's a phenomenal wrestler. And, you know, she's won a number of belts by now. I mean, she's currently one half of the Goddess of Stardom Tag Team Champions. She's the current SWA champion. She just won the World of Stardom Championship, and she's also a former Artist of Stardom champion as well. So she's got quite a resume that she's built just in Stardom alone. She has a great win percentage, and you know, I felt like this was a long time coming, but I'm definitely happy for Shirley. She definitely deserves to be the red belt champion. But like I said, Utami had an excellent run, and I feel like Utami is definitely the ace of Stardom right now. But definitely congratulations to Shirley for winning Outstanding Performance Award. Well deserved. The Shining Award, which was a fan-voted award, went to Starlight Kid of Oedo Tai. You know what? I'm definitely in agreement with this. Of course, I would have voted Shirley, but Starlight Kid definitely makes sense. Ever since Starlight Kid has gone to Oedo Tai, she's been very successful. She's already a great wrestler, but the character changed. She's really embraced the darkness, and you know, she finally won the high speed championship. And you know what? While Natsuko Tora has been out, she's really taken charge and kind of being like the interim leader of Oedo Tai while Natsuko Tora has been healing from injury and rehabbing. So, you know what? I definitely like what they're doing with Starlight Kid. You know, at first I was kind of iffy, but I really like this Oedo Tai, this dark Starlight Kid. I think the character works well for her. You know, I think she's been a strong high-speed champion. And I really look forward to see how things go for her in 2022. But yeah, really like Starlight Kid. I think she's going to keep doing great things in Stardom, especially with Oedo Tai. Really like what they're doing with her. The best unit. So the best unit or best faction went to Oedo Tai. Now, I know some people probably would have figured maybe Donna Del Mondo just based on, I guess, who's in that faction and their dominance. But I feel like with the type of year that Oedo Tai has had, I think really they deserve this award. You know, there's been a couple of loser joins the other faction matches, and Oedo Tai has won each of those matches in 2021. You know what I mean? So if anything, that just shows you do not bet against Oedo Tai in that type of match. Because you got to remember, that's how Fukiken Def went to Oedo Tai. That's how Momo Watanabe went to Oedo Tai. That's how Starlight Kid went to Oedo Tai. You know, so something to keep in mind. That type of match, you don't want to bet against Oedo Tai. A loser leaves the faction and joins the opposing team's faction. You don't want to bet against Oedo Tai. But just with the storylines that they've had, I know it was unfortunate, you know, the injury with Natsuko Tora, but Oedo Tai, I mean, with Konami and Fukiken Def, and, you know, they added Ruaka and they got Starlight Kid. Starlight Kid, that was a big acquisition. So, and I know Konami is, about to take a leave of absence, leave Stardom for a while, but I think they still got something really strong with Starlight Kid and Ruka. She was a former Future of Stardom champion, and now they just got Momo Watanabe, so they're really doing some things. And I feel like they've only gotten stronger, especially after getting Momo Watanabe, the former leader of Queen's Quest. So I can see why they won Best Unit. I can definitely see why they won Best Unit. Best Tag Team goes to Hazuki and Koguma, the winners of last year's Goddess Tag League tournament. And you know what? They definitely have great chemistry as a tag team. Of course, both are part of Stars. It was after that tournament that Hazuki ended up joining Stars. So I really felt like they've done a great job. They have a great chemistry. And I think in due time, they'll win the tag titles. I think they are due at some point for a Goddess of Stardom tag title run. And who knows? Maybe they'll end up dethroning Julia and Shuri. Maybe so. I wouldn't look past it. But I definitely like this tag team of Hazuki and Koguma. I think they work really well. And it shows. It definitely shows. They did excellent in the Goddess Tag League. And they don't seem to be slowing down. I like what they got going. So congratulations to Hazuki and Koguma of Stars on winning Best Tag Team. All right, you had Best Match. So the best match, although I probably would have voted for Utami Hayashishita versus Shuri at Yokohama Dream Cinderella, but this was also a great match. This was the loser gets their head shaved match where Tam Nakano went up against Julia. And this was also for the Wonder of Stardom Championship. This was back in March. Of course, Tam Nakano defeated Julia, and Julia had to get her head shaved. It was a great match. I loved the build-up to this match. The build-up to this match was excellent. They really told a great story with the build-up as well as the match itself. And even afterwards, it was a very emotional moment after that match was over. And, after Tam Nakano got her hand raised and got crowned the Wonder of Stardom champion. So it makes sense. It wouldn't have been my first pick, but I can understand why this won. But yeah, the match between Julia and Tam Nakano, where Julia got her head shaved. Definitely a great match overall. Great storytelling. Really liked what they did with this match. So congratulations to those two ladies on winning Best Match of 2021. The special award, which I don't really know exactly. I don't really know exactly what the special award means. Like, it's just called the special award. So I really don't know. It's like, okay, what's so special about it? Like, I don't really get it. Or if somebody knows the description of what this award is supposed to entail or what it's supposed to, celebrate, let me know, because I don't even know. But Mayu Iwatani was the winner of the special award. I mean, Mayu Iwatani is the icon of Stardom. So, great wrestler, overall great performer. Pardon me. I know she can occasionally be a little ditzy and clumsy. But I mean, that's part of her character. I mean, Mayu's always been kind of clumsy, but great wrestler. Always happy-go-lucky, always smiling, but great wrestler. I would love to meet her someday. Mayu Iwatani seems like a lot of fun. And I was really jealous because I know a friend of mine actually got a chance to meet Mayu Iwatani because remember, she was a part of ROH through the relationship they had with Stardom. And, you know, she was a former ROH Woman of Honor champion. So, you know, got a chance to meet Mayu Iwatani at a show, at a ROH show. And I was just like, oh my God, I'm so jealous. But great wrestler, great overall person. I would love to meet her. But yeah, she wins the special award, whatever that means. So I don't know. And then the MVP. The MVP award goes to the Red Queen, the ace, Utami Hayashishita. And like I said, it definitely makes a lot of sense why she won the MVP. You know, she's been incredible for Stardom. I feel like ever since winning the red belt, you know, dethroning Mayu Iwatani, you know, she's been on a roll. She's had great matches. You know, and even before that, because remember, she won 2 years ago, she won the 5-star Grand Prix. So, you know, she's definitely done very well, you know, for such a young age, which I believe she's only 23. And she's only been wrestling, I think she just hit her 3rd year of her wrestling career. So still very young. Very young, still has quite a lot ahead of her. And in Stardom, she has done very well. And like I said, to the point where I truly believe she is currently the ace of Stardom. And, you know what, she had an incredible year 2021. I'm looking forward to seeing how things go for her in 2022. She's now the newest leader of Queen's Quest, now that Momo Watanabe is with Oedo Tai. And you know what? I want to see how she does. I want to see how she does. You know, Utami has done very well. She's a great wrestler. And I know a lot of fans out there, from what I've seen on Twitter, a lot of fans out there kind of looked down on her World of Stardom title run, felt like she was fast-tracked to that title. I disagree. I highly disagree. I felt like she's had great matches. She was built up very well. And I mean, you know, she's also been a champion even before that. She's, you know, been Goddess of Stardom champion with Saya Kamitani, Aphrodite. She was a former Future of Stardom champion as well. And I believe she was also a former Artist of Stardom champion. Somebody correct me if I'm wrong, but I think she was a former Artist of Stardom Trios champion. But yeah, Utami is a great wrestler, and I feel like her career has been growing and growing very well at a great pace in Stardom. And she's the real deal. She's the real deal. So she definitely deserved the MVP award for all that she's done in 2021. Like I said, I know she got dethroned by Shuri, but still, Utami Hayashishita, I can say with confidence, is currently the ace of Stardom. No doubt. No doubt. And speaking of which, we've also seen some new members joining two different factions. So X and Double X under Julia have been revealed to be Thekla, I don't even know if I said that name right, and Mirai. Now, I am not really familiar with either of these ladies. It sounds like Thekla came from Ice Ribbon, which I know Julia wrestled with Ice Ribbon, but it sounds like that she came from Ice Ribbon. I think they're besties. And then Mirai, I've never heard of Mirai. Never heard of her, so she's new to me. I've never seen her before. But they came in and pretty much dominated Cosmic Angels. I definitely like these two ladies, but yeah, Thekla definitely seems to be very charismatic, and it was pretty funny seeing her get on the mic after the match. But her and Mirai are the newest members of Donna Del Mundo. So now Donna Del Mundo has 7 members to that faction. They're pretty stacked right now. Mai Hime Poi, Shuri, Julia, Thekla, Mirai. They're stacked right now. And then Queen's Quest. Out with Momo Watanabe, in with Lady C. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. Lady C has joined Queen's Quest. She is no longer unaffiliated. She has now joined Queen's Quest. And you know something? It makes sense. I think overall it makes sense. At one point, I thought Cosmic Angels, but when you really think about it, Queen's Quest makes a lot more sense for her. And, they were short on members. Like I said, Momo left, so it was down to Saya Kamitani, Utami Hayashishita, and Azumi. And, Hina's been dealing with school. So they were pretty much down to 3, but now they're back at 4 with the addition of Lady C. The only thing now is, are we going to start seeing Lady C maybe win more now that she's actually part of a faction? Not saying that will instantly make her unstoppable or, anything like that, or she'll just go on this big win streak. But I think it would be nice to actually see her, get some more wins here and there. She does have the 2 victories, 1 singles victory and 1 tag team victory, because she did get a tag team victory when partnered up with Himeka, and she got the singles victory submitting Waka Tsukiyama. So I'm hoping with Lady C part of Queen's Quest, she'll rack up, a couple of more victories here and there, get her more established, especially now that she's part of a new unit. And Queen's Quest is typically a pretty strong unit. With its history, they're usually a pretty strong unit. So we'll have to see. But yeah, Thekla and Mirai to Donna Del Mundo, Lady C to Queen's Quest. I think it's very interesting. What a way to start the new year off for Stardom. And looking forward to see what they do next going forward in their next upcoming shows. But I can dig it. Okay. That's it for Stardom. Little bit of New Japan Pro Wrestling news. Some unfortunate news. I just saw the news about Shozo Strong Kobayashi recently passed away right on December 31st. So didn't make it into the new year. He was 81. But yeah, he has wrestled in IWE, WWF, and NJPW. But yeah, he's even feuded with Andre the Giant. I don't know him too well, so if any of y'all watching have any memories of him, or if you've seen him wrestle quite a bit, do share your thoughts. But yeah, like I said, I don't really know him. But, I just thought I would mention that because he just recently passed away. And then, unfortunately, due to Kenta's injury from his match with Hiroshi Tanahashi, that no disqualification match, unfortunately, he will not be able to wrestle at Wrestle Kingdom Night 3 tomorrow. So, unfortunate news. Apparently, word is he sustained a dislocated left hip, a broken nose, tendon damage to his finger, and severe lacerations to his back. Yikes. Yeah. I mean, that was a rough match. You could tell that was a really rough match that he had with Tanahashi. But dang, I didn't know he had that many injuries just from that one match. But yeah, dislocated left hip, broken nose, tendon damage to his finger, and severe lacerations to his back. So, yeah, it's crazy. So apparently for the tag team, Takashi Sugiura and Kazushi Sakuraba, apparently they're going to have a replacement mystery partner for tomorrow to replace Kenta. But I guess in the midst of that, maybe they had to call an audible and put the IWGP United States Championship back on Tanahashi. So, or at least that's my guess. But wishing Kenta a speedy recovery. I would have loved to have seen him in this third show, but, take the time you need, heal up, and, come back ASAP. But it's unfortunate when these things happen. It's really, really unfortunate. But that's pretty much all that I have for New Japan Pro Wrestling. Want to get into some AEW as well. Dynamite was pretty solid. We had the American Dragon Bryan Danielson versus Hangman Adam Page, round 2 for the AEW World Championship. And I tell you, this was a brutal match. Both men got busted open, and it was the opener. Both men got busted open. And the judges that they had for this match were Mark Henry, Paul White, and Jerry Lynn. Interesting choices. Very interesting choices. But yeah, they were just back and forth, tearing each other apart. Both lost a lot of blood, and it was brutal. And I have to say, Bryan Danielson, he sold that buckshot lariat really well. I mean, he sold it really well. And I mean, it took him 3 attempts. But man, he sold the crap out of that buckshot lariat. But it was back and forth. But Bryan Danielson suffers his first loss in AEW to the champ, Hangman Adam Page. It was an excellent match. It was definitely an excellent match. But Hangman Adam Page stays strong and keeps the title. But wow, what an opening. What an opening match. The MJF versus Shawn Dean match. As soon as CM Punk came out and MJF bolted, I kind of had a feeling what happened was going to happen. I mean, CM Punk attacked Shawn Dean because the thing was the match was still going at that time. And because CM Punk attacked Shawn Dean got the victory via disqualification. And of course, that pissed off MJF. But I mean, I had a feeling something like that was going to happen. And then, of course, had a moment, both of these guys on the mic just going back and forth, which, man, a lot was kind of hinted, especially with WWE hinted by both MJF and CM Punk, especially with it having to do with MJF potentially going over to WWE. And of course, CM Punk was like, yeah, going ahead and go over there and main event night 4 at a pay-per-view where it's buy 2, get 1 free sort of thing. And then you get released just like that right afterwards. Something along those lines, but just really smack talking how they do things at WWE. So I thought that was pretty funny. And it looks like we're going to get the match that we all wanted, CM Punk versus MJF. But MJF was like CM Punk versus Wardlow. So we're going to get CM Punk versus Wardlow next week. But hey, that'll be next week at Raleigh, North Carolina, which I'll be at that show. It's in my hometown, so I'm going to be at that show. So that should be good. But they're going to keep building this up more and more, and we're eventually going to get that match. We're probably not going to get that match until a pay-per-view. I don't think it'll be Revolution, maybe Double or Nothing. We'll see. But I don't think we're going to get MJF versus CM Punk until a pay-per-view. And then, of course, had a segment with Chris Jericho and, of course, 2.0. Daniel Garcia had words for each other, and they tried to jump Jericho. But then Eddie Kingston and Proud and Powerful did come for the save, which was really weird that happened, considering when Jericho came out to help Proud and Powerful and Eddie Kingston got pissed. But this time around, it seemed cool. It seemed cool. See, we had Wardlow versus this Antonio Zambrano, and of course Shawn Spears was there, and he pretty much took out Zambrano to the point where all Wardlow had to do was just take him out with power bombs, which he ended up hitting him with 5 power bombs before getting the pin. But, of course, Shawn Spears had to sneak in a chair shot, of course. But, yeah, I think more and more it's going to get closer to Wardlow turning on Shawn Spears and then eventually turning on MJF. It's coming. It's like part of that is maybe right around the corner, but that face turn is going to happen for Wardlow. It's going to happen. It's like not too far off, but it's going to happen. So just keep an eye out for it. We had the TBS Championship Finals. Of course, this is for the newly inaugural TBS Championship for the women. Of course, this Dynamite was the first episode of AEW Dynamite, not only for the year, but also on TBS. Because remember, Dynamite has moved to TBS while Rampage is staying on TNT. So the finals were Jade Cardgill versus Ruby Soho. Now, I know despite Mercedes Martinez coming out, and of course Thunder Rosa coming out to even the odds, and besides Smart Mark Sterling getting sent to the back, Jade Cardgill hits a botched Jaded from the turnbuckle, because Ruby Soho kind of came down hard or awkward on her knee, but I'm sorry, but Jade Cardgill is still too green, but yet Tony Khan is very high on her. And apparently her daughter was in attendance. But yeah, Jade Cardgill gets the 1, 2, 3 And your new inaugural TBS champion is Jade Cardgill. Still undefeated, still hasn't lost a match, but is your TBS Women's Champion. I mean, like I said, Tony Khan is very high on her. I'm not a big fan of her. I think she looks like Raka Khan 2.0, but I know some folks like her. I just feel like she's too green. And, you know, this is another one of her longest matches because she doesn't have a lot of long matches. Most of her matches are squashes. I think all but like 3 matches were squashes. So, you know, just something to keep in mind. But another thing is, you know, with the recent situation that happened with Big Swole, do you think in a nonverbal way this could be something that they kind of answered back with, putting the title on Jade Cardgill? Which, don't get me wrong, Jade Cardgill has been getting a lot of TV time. It's been getting a lot of TV time, whether it's on Dark or on Dynamite. She's been getting a lot of TV time. So there's no disputing that. But just the fact that they put the TBS title, their inaugural title, on Jade Cardgill, her winning this tournament, you know, maybe that's how they kind of respond to Big Swole, you know, despite Big Swole no longer being with AEW. You know, as to that whole situation with the diversity and all, I mean, just a thought. Just a thought. But one thing's for sure, that with this happening, which, you know, it looks like Mercedes and Thunder Rosa are going to feud for a bit. But I think ultimately, in the end, Thunder Rosa is going to be the one that dethrones Dr. Brit Baker, DMD. It's a matter of time. It's only a matter of time. It probably won't be soon, but that's another one that I say it will probably be at a pay-per-view. It'll be at a pay-per-view. Let's see. I know good old JR had an interview with Serena Deeb, and it looks like the feud between Shida and Deeb is not over. And as a matter of fact, we're going to get another Serena Deeb Hikaru Shida match next week. So that'll be in Raleigh. So I'll be able to see that match. Looking forward to that. I love Shida. We had Malachi Black versus Brian Pillman Jr. Brian Pillman Jr. gave it his best. You know, had some good moments in this match. Unfortunately, went to go for the springboard flying clothesline, slipped, and then ate a black mass, which he sold that black mass really well. Just like the last time he got hit by it, he really sold that black mass. And was going to do some more damage. Then Lucha Bros came out. Lights went dark. Lucha Bros were in the ring. Malachi Black was outside of the ring and was able to retreat. I kept thinking that Brody King was going to show up, but unfortunately, that did not happen. That did not happen. But the main event was the AEW World Tag Team Championship match, where the Lucha Bros defended against Jurassic Express, of course, accompanied by Christian. And excellent match. Definitely excellent match. Very action-packed between these two teams. These two teams definitely did great. Unfortunately, it came at a cost. At a very badly unfortunate cost. So, unfortunately, Rey Fenix suffered a really, really nasty-looking injury. So, he took a choke slam through a table onto outside of the ring from the apron by Luchasaurus, and he landed on his arm badly to the point where it bent back And it was pretty much, it looked snapped, but it was bent like all the way back. And of course, you could see him grabbing to it and motioning over for the medical guy. You know, he motioned for the medical guy. But that was like the only really unfortunate part of that match. And thankfully, I mean, it wasn't from a high flying move that he tried to do. So that's cool, but still just a really bad, unfortunate mishap with that table spot, that choke slam through the table. I mean, I can imagine that was rough being, from the apron to the floor. That's pretty high up. So something to take note of. But Jungle Boy was able to reverse a Made in Japan and roll up Penta El Cierro Mero to get the 1, 2, 3, and Jurassic Express, Jungle Boy, Luchasaurus, or your new AEW World Tag Team Champions. Apparently the word is that Rey Fenix suffered a dislocated elbow. So definitely not as bad as a break, not as bad as a clean break. So dislocated elbow, which, I'm pretty sure is still very uncomfortable. But if everything goes well, I think they say you can recover from a dislocated elbow maybe about 1.5 months or so, maybe 1.5, 2 months, give or take. So hopefully Phoenix will be able to hop back into action soon, as soon as possible. And honestly, if I can be honest, since AEW debuted, unfortunately, Rey Fenix has kind of had some bad luck. He's been injured at least a good 4 times since AEW debuted. So I feel for the guy. But at the same time, being a luchador, being a high flyer, I mean, it's high risk, high reward. And unfortunately, those things sometimes happen. And it's just, he's been out of action a couple of times and he's been able to return. And, I'm sure this won't be any different. But it sucks. It sucks when that happens. And it takes its toll on your body. You know what I mean? And it just goes to show so many people can talk. Like for years, I've heard so many other non-wrestling fans, oh, it's fake. It's scripted. It's fake. It's fake. Yeah, I know that. But that still doesn't change the fact that you can still get physically, realistically hurt. Still doesn't change the fact that you can still get hurt, even in pro wrestling. It happens a lot, unfortunately. So, I mean, as much as people want to say, oh, pro wrestling's fake, you can still get seriously hurt or even end your career through pro wrestling. And it's just, I don't get how a lot of these non-pro wrestling fans just bash like that because, oh, it's not real fighting. But if you don't sell the move correctly, if you don't execute a lot of different factors, you can get seriously hurt. Because the thing is, when Rey Fenix got hurt, he didn't even do anything wrong. He was taking a choke slam, just, unfortunate bad landing. Not to mention, if you ask me, I think it was executed too quickly. I don't think he had an opportunity to set and brace for it. But, when these things, they go too fast sometimes because, they're performing. They're in front of everybody. So any mishap or botch or anything like that, miscommunication, all the fans are going to see. So it's unfortunate that happens sometimes. But like I said, I hope and pray a speedy recovery for Rey Fenix. And like I said, Penta can still wrestle as a singles wrestler. He's done that plenty of times. So he'll probably just be a singles wrestler for now. Or who knows, maybe him and Pac, when Pac returns, him and Pac can still team up. But either way, Rey Fenix will be back. He'll be back. Thankfully, it wasn't as bad of an injury as it could have been, because it could have been a lot worse. I mean, it's bad, but it could have been a lot worse. Rampage. So, let's see. Rampage. We had Adam Cole versus Jake Atlas, which was a really good match. Jake Atlas, since his AEW debut, which I believe was on Dark, Jake Atlas has been doing really well. And, he definitely had a great match with Adam Cole. He did tweak his knee, though, near the end of the match, as Adam Cole was getting ready to hit the Panama Sunrise. So they kind of had to call an audible, and Adam Cole hooked in a heel hook for Jake Atlas to tap out. Hopefully it's not too bad, and that Jake Atlas can get back to action soon. But, Jake Atlas did get signed. He is All Elite. And, I was kind of surprised at the signing. I didn't think he was going to get signed like that. But you know what? I like Jake Atlas. I think he's a great wrestler. I like some of the things that he did in NXT. So, I like Jake Atlas. I hope he does well in AEW. And, hey, congratulations to him on getting signed. Cool deal. We also had Hook versus Aaron Solo. So, send Hook. We got to see more Hook in action on Rampage. And, of course, did really well. Tapped out Aaron Solo, the Taz mission, the Kata Hajime. Of course, he's been definitely using some of his father, Taz's moves. Definitely been seeing that quite a bit. And, yeah, even took out QT Marshall as well. And, yeah. Hook still looking strong, and I think they got something special in him, and the fans love him. The fans love Hook. Even though Hook is a heel, the fans love him. Definitely the crowd showing their love and appreciation for Hook. I think he has a t-shirt out now, a Send Hook t-shirt. But yeah, he's got a strong fan following right now. So we'll have to see what happens with Hook, but he's on a roll. Hook is on a roll. We had a women's tag team match where Ruby Soho and Riho teamed up against Jamie Hayter and the AEW Women's World Champion, Dr. Brit Baker, DMD. Now, of course, this match was set up from Dynamite, a backstage interview with Ruby Soho. She got attacked by Brit Baker and company. Riho came out to try to fight them off and even the odds, and that's how this tag team match was formed. Now, of course, it was back and forth. All four ladies got showcased very well. At the end of the match, Jamie Hayter accidentally knocked out Brit Baker. Riho rolled up Jamie Hayter for the 1, 2, 3. Winners, Ruby Soho and Riho, which I have to give credit to Ruby Soho and Riho. They have great chemistry as a tag team with their double team moves. I mean, they were doing a couple of great innovative moves as a tag team. I was very impressed with this team. These two ladies got great chemistry. I wonder if they rehearsed and worked on a lot of different things together, and it just makes me wonder about the language barrier, because, Riho, is from Japan. I don't really know how much English she knows, but it seemed like the communication was like 100% in sync between Ruby Soho and Riho. So I would like to see them tag again. I wouldn't mind. I wouldn't mind seeing them tag again. So we'll see what happens. Now, I was looking at Twitter. Now, there are a lot of folks that just been hating on Riho and just saying, oh, she doesn't even look like a wrestler. She needs to go. She's trash. She's too small. Y'all do realize she's been wrestling since she was 9 years old. Have y'all seen her wrestle outside of AEW? You know, at one point she was a double champion. While holding that AEW Women's World Championship, she was also Stardom's high-speed champion as well, which she held that belt a good long while before she finally lost it to Azumi. And then the whole thing is, oh, it's a 90-pound girl rolling up a 140-pound girl. I'm like, you act like that don't happen in other promotions. Happens all the time in WWE. That ain't nothing new. What, the smaller girl, the smaller wrestler rolling up the bigger wrestler? That happens a lot. That ain't nothing new. If folks are complaining about Riho doing it, but don't say a word when others are doing it, and other promotions as well, come on now. Really? I mean, if you don't like Riho, just say you don't like Riho, but some of the things that get pointed out, it's like, that's been happening with other promotions and wrestlers as well. I mean, yeah, I get it. She's a small girl. She's a skinny girl. So what? She's a great wrestler. She's been wrestling for a long time. I mean, it's Riho. She's wrestled multiple promotions, still young and still in great shape. And she's a great wrestler. Like, come on now. Just because she's small doesn't mean that she can't wrestle. Like, come on now. Like, seriously. It's ridiculous. All these Riho bashers. Like, it's so dumb. It's really, really dumb. All right. And then, like I said, tomorrow we got AEW Battle of the Belts at the Bojangles Coliseum in Charlotte, North Carolina, which I will be attending live and in person. So the show starts at 7, but the Battle of the Belts portion starts at 8. So it looks like we're going to get an hour of dark matches, and then we'll get the actual matches on the card at 8 o'clock. So the card for Battle of the Belts. So we know we're going to get Brit Baker, Dr. Brit Baker, DMD versus Riho for the AEW Women's World Championship. We know we got that. So we were originally supposed to get TNT Championship on the line. Cody Rhodes defending against Sammy Guevara in the rematch. But unfortunately, word is that due to medical issues, which I believe it's been confirmed that Cody unfortunately got COVID. So his brother, Dustin Rhodes, will be going up against Sammy Guevara for an interim TNT Championship. So the TNT title, an interim version of the title, will be on the line. And you know what? It's kind of interesting to see what they do with that. Is this a way that they put the title back on Sammy Guevara, and then eventually they'll have Cody and Sammy go at it one more time, winner take all? That might be what they're setting up for. You know, I know that this is something they had to call an audible for, but this could be what they set up for. And then, like I said, Riho versus Brit Baker. The whole storyline is Brit Baker has never been able to beat Riho. And as much as I'll be cheering on Riho and representing, like I said, I'll have my sign, I'll have on my Riho shirt. Riho's not winning. And I know this. Riho is not winning. They're definitely going to have Dr. Brit Baker retain the title and finally get that victory over Riho. It's going to happen. Now, I know there's some tension between her and Jamie Hayter, but I really don't think that's gonna play into this match. I really don't think it's gonna play into this match. I could be wrong, but I just don't see them putting the title back on Riho like this, because I think ultimately they're gonna have Thunder Rosa dethrone Britt Baker. That's just my thoughts. They also announced that they're going to be Ricky Starks will be defending the FTW Championship against Matt Sydal. So we know that that match is going to happen as well. So 3 title matches for battle for the belts, for Battle of the Belts. Kind of a bummer, but word is that this was only supposed to be a 1-hour show, but I think with them starting it at 7, I think that makes it easier to have, like, at least you get some dark matches and then you have the couple of title matches. So, I mean, yeah. I mean, at least that's a good thing, because I know a lot of people were thinking, well, dang, if it's only 1 hour, shoot, that we're not going to really get our money's worth. But I think with them starting it at 7 p.m., we're definitely getting some dark matches. So I'm cool with that. I'm definitely cool with that. And like I said, I'll be close to the ramp. So I'm definitely cool with that. But anyway, that's pretty much all that I have for AEW. So let's get into some WWE. Raw. Ugh. The only thing I can say is just a couple of things. One, I'm guessing Alpha Academy is going to get a tag title shot against RK Bro, being that they beat RK Bro on Raw. So I'm pretty sure they're going to be in line for a Raw tag title shot. I don't know why they had a 24/7 mixed tag team match that Dana Brooke didn't even freaking get into the match. It was stupid. It was really, really stupid. And it looks like, to decide a new number 1 contender for Becky Lynch's Raw Women's title, they're going to, I believe this coming Monday, they're going to do a triple threat match. Liv Morgan versus Doudrop versus Bianca Belair. Winner gets Becky Lynch at Royal Rumble. So we'll see how that goes. The women's tag team titles were on the line. Queen Zelina and Carmelo were able to defeat Rhea Ripley and Nikki Ash, which Nikki Ash got rolled up. They need to just go on ahead and split that tag team. They need to split that tag team. Rhea Ripley and Nikki Ash, they need to split that tag team. They need to go ahead and end that, because that's getting ridiculous. It's really pointless to keep having that tag team. Damian Priest successfully defended the United States Championship against Dolph Ziggler. Oh, man. We had a match set for Royal Rumble, a mixed tag team match. So we're going to get Edge and Beth Phoenix versus The Miz and Maurice. Oh, I cannot believe that Maurice is getting back in the ring to actually wrestle. And I'm going to tell you right now, I refuse to watch that match. I have never liked Maurice. I think she's trash, especially in the ring. I mean, is she a pretty woman? Sure. But as far as a wrestler, she's trash. And I refuse to watch a wrestling match with Maurice wrestling. I refuse to. I refuse to. I won't do it. I'll have to look away and I'll have to mute it. And then I'll just look at the results later. But I refuse to watch a Maurice match. I won't do it. I won't do it. You also had Omos versus AJ Styles, which, Omos defeated AJ Styles, but it's definitely safe to say that AJ Styles is now a face. So I'm cool with that. But it's good to see AJ Styles back to being a singles wrestler. We also had a fatal four-way at the main event where the winner gets Brock Lesnar at Royal Rumble for the WWE Championship. And the four competitors were Bobby Lashley, Big E, Seth Rollins, Kevin Owens. And then ultimately, Bobby Lashley ended up winning this match, went on a spear fest, and we are now going to get Bobby Lashley versus Brock Lesnar at Royal Rumble. A match that we have yet to see, and it's finally going to happen, and it's going to happen at the Royal Rumble. So this should be good. This should be really good. I know there was a lot of hype behind this. I feel like this is the one right thing they did on Raw. So we're going to get that at Royal Rumble. And like I said, Brock Lesnar, Paul Heyman reunited once again on Raw. So, yeah. And then NXT 2.0, we had New Year's Evil. This definitely was a show that closed the doors on the era of the black and gold. And we are now 100% in the new era of 2.0. We had the North American Championship, Cruiserweight Championship Unification match between Carmelo Hayes and Roderick Strong, which was a great match, a great clash of styles between both these competitors. And it was back and forth. I mean, there was no telling who was going to win this match. And I have to say, Carmelo Hayes really sold that sit kick that he took from Roderick Strong. I mean, that was incredible. But these two just went back and forth. It was awesome. But then Carmelo Hayes was able to get the top rope pretty much flying famouser onto Roderick Strong. Got the 1, 2, 3. And there you have it. Carmelo Hayes is your new unified North American champion / Cruiserweight champion. Now, of course, they're going to go on with just the North American Championship, but you can say officially that the last Cruiserweight champion is Carmelo Hayes. But that belt is good and gone now, which also makes me wonder what's going to happen with 205 Live, which, I mean, the belt hasn't been defended on 205 Live in forever, but yet 205 Live is still there. So it makes me wonder if 205 Live is just gonna get removed or canceled, a name change, whatever's. But it's been a platform for a lot of the new men and women, developmental talent to wrestle on. So I don't know. Maybe that's just how they'll keep it that way for now. So we'll see. So I thought we were going to have Grayson Waller versus AJ Styles. I thought it was going to turn into a match. They had, like a little exchange of words. And then, there was a little bit of brawling, but that match got pushed to next week. So this coming Wednesday, we're going to get Grayson Waller versus AJ Styles. But this is a pretty big deal. AJ Styles now in NXT 2.0, and it just makes me wonder: is this his new home for now? Is he taking a break from the main roster and is going to be on NXT 2.0 for a while? This could be interesting because you got to remember when AJ debuted in the WWE, he debuted at the Royal Rumble, so he was instantly on the main roster. So he's had a few small appearances on NXT, but he hasn't had a match on NXT. So this is big. This is big. So we'll have to see how things go with AJ Styles on NXT 2.0, feuding with Grayson Waller. We had an incredible 6-man tag match, Imperium, with Walter teaming up to take on MSK and Matt Riddle. And I have to say, this was a very entertaining 6-man tag. This was back and forth. Both teams showcased really well. And, Walter and Matt Riddle have a lot of history. They've had a lot of matches against each other, even outside of WWE. So there's a lot of history there. But these two teams just went at it. It was amazing. I definitely enjoyed this match. But when it was all said and done, a couple of combo attacks, including a floating bro, an RKO, MSK's double team finisher. And after a 1-2-3, MSK and Matt Riddle get the victory over Imperium. So, incredible 6-man tag that I enjoyed very much. We also had the NXT Women's Championship defended in a triple threat match. It was the champion Mandy Rose arriving in a helicopter, taking on Raquel Gonzalez arriving on a motorcycle, and Cora Jade arriving on a little mini skateboard. So this match was okay. I'm not going to say this was an excellent match. It was okay. This is not really a match that I would brag about. And I really wasn't a fan of the finish. I wasn't a fan of the finish of this match. But Mandy Rose got the roll-up on Cora Jade. Pin 1-2-3, Mandy Rose retains the NXT Women's Championship, which, it keeps Raquel Gonzalez strong in the mix. So I definitely understand. But yeah, first title defense in the books for Mandy Rose. But yeah, the match was okay. Overall, it was okay. But being that it was a triple threat match, it was no DQ, so there, could be weapons and all sorts of stuff. So that's the thing with that. And I know there was a segment with Von Wagner beating the crap out of Andre Chase and one of his students, which I could care less. I'm not a fan of Von Wagner anyway. You have this was actually a very action-packed main event with Braun Breaker getting another shot at the NXT Championship held by Tommaso Ciampa. Thought it was pretty iconic. Braun Breaker's entrance, him kicking down a big X representing the black and gold era of NXT, kicking that down, kicking it in half. But this match was back and forth, was very intense. But when Braun Breaker kicked out of the Willow's Bell, kicked out of the fairy tale ending. I knew right then and there Braun Breaker was going to win. Braun Breaker was going to win. And he channeled the Steiner brothers on his way to victory. Frankensteiner, Diving Bulldog, and was able to get Tommaso Ciampa to submit to a Steiner recliner. Like, wow. Wow. And just like that, Braun Breaker is your new NXT champion. And of course, his dad, the dog-faced gremlin, Rick Steiner, came in afterwards off camera to celebrate with his son. But yeah, so that is now the end of the black and gold era. Tommaso Ciampa is no longer champ. And now it really makes me wonder a lot of things. Like, and the word is Tommaso Ciampa had a dark match on Smackdown against Pete Dunne, and he beat Pete Dunne. So I don't know, y'all. Maybe Tommaso Ciampa might get boosted up to the main roster. I know it's not something he likes or wants, but that could be what ends up happening. It could be what ends up happening. But we'll see. Anyways, it was also announced the Dusty Tag Classic for the men and women got announced. And they're doing the men's tournament first, and then the women's tournament in February, if I remember correctly. That's what they said. But my thing is this. Like, for the men, now see, for the men, when you think about it, there should be a decent number of tag teams that you could use for the men for this tournament. I mean, think about it. You got, here, let's count them out. You got MSK, that's one. Last year's winners, so that's one. You got Jacket Time, that's two. You got the Creed brothers, that's three. You got Briggs and Jensen, that's four. Let's see. You have Grizzled Young Veterans, that's five. Joe Gacy and Harlan, that's six. You could also do, when you think about it, you could do Trick Williams and Carmelo Hayes. You know, why not? They're together anyway. That's seven right there. The only team that you wouldn't include because they're the tag champs would be Imperium. Now, if they could find one more team, then that's eight right there. And that's you could have a tournament with that. You can have the men's Dusty Tag Classic with 8 teams. So they just need to figure out an 8th team that they could use for this tournament. They got to figure out an 8th team. If I were to come up with one, Zion Quinn and Solo Sikoa, I wouldn't mind putting them together. I think they'd be a dominant team. They've been kind of strong in their singles run so far. Maybe for this tournament, team them up together. Just a thought. Just a thought. Now for the women, it's a little bit more difficult because honestly, in NXT, there really aren't any women's tag team champs, or not tag team champs, but there's not really a lot of women's tag teams. Because, I mean, really the only teams you have, I mean, you got Toxic Attraction, which they're the tag champs, so you can't count them for this tournament. You have Caden Carter and Casey Catanzaro. That's one. You got Persia Parada and Indy Hartwell. That's two. I mean, you can't really count Io Shirai and Zoe Stark because Zoe Stark's still healing from her injury. She's not cleared. So, I mean, that's 2 teams there. I mean, there's not really any other teams without them having to just put random people together. I mean, who knows? They may do something crazy like put Saray and Io Shirai together since Zoe can't go. I doubt that'll happen. But I don't know how they're going to do the women's Dusty Tag Classic. And maybe that's why they pushed it to February. Because maybe they still got to figure out the teams. But really, the only two teams I can think of right now are Casey Catanzaro and Caden Carter and Persia Parada and Indy Hartwell. Those are really the only two teams that come to mind. Because Toxic Attraction are the tag champs right now. So they need to figure that out. They need to figure that out. But yeah, they need to figure that out. That's all I can really say. Had NXT UK, which they had the NXT UK Tag Team Championship Eliminator semifinal match where Oliver Carter and Ashton Smith went up against and defeated Symbiosis, which it was a good match. It was actually a pretty long match, or at least it felt like a pretty long match. But yeah, Oliver Carter and Ashton Smith, they're going to the finals of this tournament. And of course, you know, the winners of this tournament become the new number one contenders to the NXT UK Tag Team Championships, currently held by Mustache Mountain. We also had Ziya Brookside in action. She went up against Myla Grace, defeated Myla Grace, which of course Ziya Brookside is a heel now. So they're building her up, and it looks like we're gonna potentially get a feud between Jenny and Amale. Looks like we're going to get a feud there. But I think first Amale is going to have to go through Stevie Turner. At least according to that backstage segment. And then the main event, we had Meiko Satomura, the NXT UK Women's Champion, defend against Blair Davenport. And this was a great match. I love both these women. Of course, Blair Davenport, a.k.a. B. Priestley. And, you know, it was back and forth. Definitely back and forth. But apparently, Meiko Satomura reversed and got a roll-up on Blair Davenport to get the 1, 2, 3. And Meiko Satomura retains the NXT UK Women's Championship. And of course, after the match, Blair Davenport attacked Meiko from behind, hit her with a Kamigoye, and raised up the title once and then left. So it's definitely not over between these two ladies. And even though Blair lost, I still have a feeling that Blair Davenport will still be the one to dethrone Meiko Satomura for that title eventually. I think she's going to have it a little longer, but I could still see Blair Davenport dethroning Meiko Satomura in due time. In due time. I think she's going to be the favorite out of all the ladies to do it. Unless they decide to give Jenny one more shot, but I think Jenny's going to be busy feuding with Amale. And then I also have to wonder when Aoife Valkyrie is medically cleared for her to return. You know, I would love to see Aoife Valkyrie back in action, and then she gets another shot at maybe she could dethrone Meiko. You know what I mean? So we'll see. We'll see what happens. We'll definitely see what happens. It was also announced that Walter will have his final stop in NXT UK where he will have a match against Nathan Frazier. I don't know why they decided to pick Nathan Frazier for his final stop in NXT UK, but it looks like one or two things is going to happen after this match. Either one, he's going to be on NXT 2.0 full time, or they may move him up to the main roster, which I got a bad feeling about if they move Walter to the main roster. I have a bad feeling. So I think one of those two things is going to happen. Either he's going to get moved to the main roster or he's going to get moved to NXT 2.0. We'll see. You know, he just had a match on NXT 2.0 with Imperium. So I'm thinking he's probably going to stay where Imperium is, but it would not surprise me if he got boosted to the main roster. We'll see, but I'm nervous about that. And then Friday Night Smackdown. I mean, Smackdown was kind of bleh overall. I really don't understand some of the decisions made, but we had a segment with Roman Reigns and Brock Lesnar, and Brock Lesnar hinted at, hey, title versus title, champ versus champ. You know, let's do this, which I'm pretty sure that's the clue, that's the hint at them having that match at WrestleMania. And then, of course, Brock ate a Superman punch. There's some tension now with Paul Heyman and Brock and Roman Reigns, so that ought to be interesting how that goes. But I'm pretty sure that's what this is going to lead up to. I really don't get the whole deal with Sami Zayn. Like, he's the number one contender to the IC Championship, the Intercontinental title, and yet he lost to Rick Boogs, and not only that, got humiliated by Johnny Knoxville, which made Johnny Knoxville an official entrant of the Royal Rumble. So, yeah, I don't understand that at all. I mean, he's your number one contender to the Intercontinental Championship and still out here losing matches. Sami Zayn, that is. I don't really understand that. Of course, we had Sonya Deville screw over Naomi during her match with Charlotte, which led to Charlotte getting the victory over Naomi. I really don't know how much longer they're going to keep extending that. They need to just... I'm getting sick of that. I'm really getting sick of that. And then, yeah, the Viking Raiders losing to Madcap Moss and Happy Corbin. Yeah. I don't get it. I really don't get it. Yeah, I don't get it. I'm confused. That's all I can say is I'm confused. But I mean, it is what it is. It is what it is. But and then of course the main event, they had the New Day versus the Usos for the 150th time. Titles on the line. But Usos get the victory. This was a no holds barred, no disqualification street fight. But yeah, Usos get the victory with a 1D through the table. They got the victory. It was also said that a challenger would be named for Roman Reigns to defend the Universal title against at Royal Rumble. And the last scene that we saw at the end of the night was Seth Rollins coming into the locker room of Roman Reigns. So it looks like it's going to be Seth Rollins versus Roman Reigns at Royal Rumble for the Universal Championship? Really? Seth Rollins? That's who they came up with? Seth Rollins? They might as well just end the brand split. Because it really makes no sense to do this kind of stuff. Just end the brand split. Just end it. Just end the brand split. And then it was also announced, they went ahead and announced 21 of the women that will be in the Royal Rumble match. So the ladies that they announced Rhea Ripley, Nikki ASH, Aaliyah, Naomi, Natalya, Lita, Shayna Baszler, Summer Rae, the Bella Twins, Carmella, Tamina, Queen Zelina, Dana Brooke, Shotzi Blackheart, Kelly, Michelle McCool, Charlotte Flair, and Mickie James. Now, hold up. Mickie James, currently the Impact Wrestling Knockouts champion, also been wrestling on NWA Power as well. And they're declaring Mickie James will participate in the Royal Rumble match. Wow. I am shocked that WWE is okaying this, especially after last year they fired and released Mickie James and even sent her stuff in a trash bag to her. I mean, which was very classless. And now all of a sudden they're cool with bringing her back for the Royal Rumble? Like, I'm assuming that this is a one-time only thing. I think this is a one-time only thing. I don't know if they're trying to make amends or what, but I guess, is this WWE opening the forbidden door? Is that their way of opening the forbidden door? I mean, even Scott D'Amore was all for it. So, and the crazy thing is, Mickie James could still be Knockouts champion at that time. Because, of course, this Saturday at Hard to Kill, she has a match for the title. She has to defend the title against Deonna Purrazzo. But, I mean, it makes you kind of wonder, you know, will she enter the Royal Rumble with her usual WWE theme? Will she rock hardcore country? And will she have the Knockouts championship with her? I mean, WWE has at least acknowledged, hey, Impact Wrestling Knockouts champion Mickie James. So, I don't know, y'all. Is this WWE officially opening the forbidden door? Something to think about. Something to think about. Now, Charlotte Flair in this Royal Rumble match makes no sense at all. She's the SmackDown Women's Champion. It makes no sense to have her in there. What? Well, she's now claiming she's going to be the first champion to enter the Royal Rumble and win it, and then she'll choose her opponent. That makes no sense. That makes no sense for this type of match. Why is Charlotte Flair even in this match? Why? 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 I hope that's not a thing. I really hope that's not a thing, because she does not need to be in this Royal Rumble match. Why does Charlotte need to be in this match? It makes no sense. Makes no sense. I mean, having Mickie James in there is already shocking enough as it is, but Charlotte? But there's still 10 other women that haven't been announced. And like I said, I'm pretty sure at least 2 of them will be Asuka and Bayley. That is, I'm sure Bayley is probably cleared by then, and same as Asuka. But I'm really thinking that Bayley and Asuka will be in this Royal Rumble, and I'm still predicting that Bayley wins the Royal Rumble. But we'll see who these other ladies are. But I think Lita being in this Royal Rumble, that's kind of a big deal. And we'll have to see if they're gonna throw in some NXT talent. Because honestly, I could see some NXT ladies in here. Like I could see like a Raquel Gonzalez or Io Shirai in this match. You know, they may even do a Kaylee Ray. You know what I mean? I could see those ladies being in the Royal Rumble match. Who knows? Maybe they'll put Saray in there. I doubt it, but maybe they'll throw Saray in there. Who knows? But yeah. But we'll see what happens with that. But just yeah. Charlotte really has no business being in that match. But we'll see what happens. And you know, I want to finish this video talking about the recent releases with WWE, and there were some very, very shocking releases, like wowzers. So, I mean, they've released folks like they've released Scott Armstrong, they've released William Regal, and I know a lot of folks are still angry about that. Even wrestlers and others in the business have tweeted just, you know, wishing William Regal the best, and you know, a lot of them showing their frustrations because I mean, you know, William Regal got released, Road Dogg got released, Ranjit Singh got released, and then even some wrestlers got released. Samoa Joe got released again. Timothy Thatcher got released. Danny Burch got released. Allison Danger got released. I mean, just a lot of wrestlers from WWE released. And it's just, it's crazy. I would have never thought that Samoa Joe and William Regal would get released. That just shocked the mess out of me. But you know what? When you really think about it, I think Vince McMahon and Bruce Pritchard and Nick Khan and them, they pretty much clean house of any Triple H guys. I think that's pretty much what the deal is. And we're literally in a brand new era for NXT 2.0. Black and gold is like pretty much completely out of there. And honestly, I fear for Shawn Michaels and Triple H. Triple H is already recovering from the recent health scare, and word is he's dealing with depression. And I think there was even a rumor that he's trying to pick up an indie promotion and turn that into something big. Don't know if that's true yet, but I feel for Triple H and Shawn Michaels. Like, yeah, NXT Black and Gold is pretty much, the original NXT is pretty much dead now. It's pretty much dead. Samoa Joe, like, they just brought him back, and now he's been released. So, but it makes me wonder, like, with his release, you know, I assume it's a 30-day non-compete clause. But then again, I don't know if Samoa Joe will wrestle again. I mean, I don't know if he's suffered another concussion or anything like that. If anything, I would love to see him back in the ring or in a commentary or trainer role elsewhere. But I feel like William Regal, I think any promotion should snatch up William Regal. I think, with as excellent job as he's done with NXT and being the general manager, the role he's played, William Regal has been excellent. He's been excellent. And I hope, whether it's AEW, New Japan, Impact, somewhere, NWA, somewhere, I hope picks up William Regal. I think he would be a big, ginormous addition to another pro wrestling promotion. Indeed, I have no doubt. And not only that, I also heard word that WWE may be looking to other streaming options and opting out of Peacock. That's another rumor I've heard. They may end up opting out of Peacock. Which, I mean, to be honest, between WWE Network and Peacock has not been the best experience for WWE since they moved to Peacock. It has not been the best experience. When they were a standalone service, they were much, much better. But since their move to Peacock, it hasn't been an excellent experience. Still very buggy, still a lot of issues, a lot of hindrances. So that's the only thing with that. But I don't know. Me personally, I just really... Oh, another rumor that I've heard is that there were attempts at negotiations to try to sell WWE to Fox, but apparently Fox didn't want to pay that particular amount of money for WWE. But that's another rumor I've heard, that WWE is trying to sell to Fox, but the offer was too big. So, but me personally, I'd say give it maybe 1 to 3 more years, and I could see WWE getting sold. To who, I don't know, but I think in due time, in 1 to 3 years, WWE gonna be sold. I think it's only a matter of time, but I think WWE is gonna be sold. I do. As far as Triple H, like I said, I hope he can recover to full health, but his recovery's been kind of slow. And just my only thing with Triple H, I just wish he would have done a little bit more of a better job at sticking up for the talent that's been called up to the main roster and pretty much destroyed on the main roster. I felt like there were areas he could have done a better job of defending them. Because, he still supports Vince and still speaks highly of Vince McMahon, which, I can kind of understand that. That's his father-in-law. But that's probably the one negative that I feel that was with Triple H. But, like I said, if anything, I just hope he recovers. I really hope he recovers. And, I fear for a lot of the talent. I hear there's going to be some more releases coming up, whether it's NXT or main roster or whatnot. I hear there's going to be some more releases coming up. You got to look at Tommaso Ciampa, potentially going to the main roster. You got to look at a lot of other folks. Look at the trend. Shotzi Blackheart, haven't really seen much of her. We saw a good bit of her when she was teamed up with Tegan Nox, but then they got split, and now Tegan's no longer there. And Shotzi, we haven't really seen much of her, except maybe, feud she had with Sasha Banks, but that really never got settled. Ridge Holland got the call up, but he's got a broken nose, so that's just unfortunate. Aaliyah I think we've seen Aaliyah in maybe one match on TV. And then we haven't seen her. Toni Storm. Terrible main roster run, and now she's gone. She didn't have hardly much of a main roster run. Ember Moon, her main roster run was trash. Kairi Sane, she didn't really have a chance for a singles run at all on the main roster. I mean, after all, she was brought up into a tag team. Karrion Kross, you saw what happened with Karrion Kross. Main roster run, trash. Xia Li. We have yet to even see Xia Li have her first official match on SmackDown. Like, hello, are we ever going to get that? Like, what's the deal? Why'd you call her up? We still have yet to get a match. And Hit Row, y'all saw what happened with Hit Row. All of Hit Row's gone now. They had the one match, and then poof, gone. So honestly, I don't have a good feeling at all about any upcoming call-ups. You know, maybe Roderick Strong may be next. I mean, he just lost the Cruiserweight title. You know, maybe he'll get called up. Maybe Tommaso Ciampa gets called up. Who knows? Maybe Io Shirai gets called up. Dakota Kai. But I don't have a good feeling that these wrestlers will have good main roster runs. I don't see it. I really don't see it. And the evidence is there. So yeah. That's pretty much all that I have. But like I said, you know, a lot of releases. I hope they're able to find work ASAP when they're able to, you know, compete and such. Those that suffered injuries, Jake Atlas, Kenta, Ray Phoenix, I hope they can recover ASAP. I wish a speedy recovery for them. And, you know, like I said, it's a lot going on. It's a lot going on, but, you know, got a lot to look forward to. I know, like I said, got Battle of the Belts, AEW to attend tomorrow. Let's see, got Wrestle Kingdom the third night, which, like I said, I'll try to catch that when I can, but that's not going to be streaming on NJPW World, not until next week. So I may catch that late, but I'll still do a video about that, a separate video about that. And then, of course, this coming Wednesday is AEW in Raleigh. I'll be at that show. So a lot to look forward to. Definitely a lot to look forward to. But anyway, that's all I have. Let me know what y'all's thoughts are about what was discussed tonight. The Stardom Awards, the recent WWE releases, the injuries that took place, the title matches. Those want to talk about Wrestle Kingdom, let me know what you thought about Wrestle Kingdom. And just New Year's Evil, NXT New Year's Evil that took place. Let me know what y'all think. Like, comment, subscribe, hit that notification bell so you can catch every video. And thank you so much for watching. This has been another Pro Wrestling Talk brought to you by Blitzball Champ Gaming. I'm your host, Blitzball Champ Jason Ingram. I hope everybody has a blessed weekend, and I will see y'all in the next video. Take care. Peace.